This is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and this is episode 18. On this episode, I have Mina. I met Mina some years ago, and even us meeting is kind of shaky because I'm like, I think what happened is I was searching on this site called Meetup.com for other Black people that like doing stuff outdoors, and Mina's group popped up, Black Outdoor. No, at the time it was called Black People Who Love the Outdoors. I believe that was the name. It changed, so now it's Black Outdoor Adventurers. But at the time, she was having some type of event, and I just went, met Mina, and then the other people there. It was a cool event. I don't remember what exactly it was, but it was cool enough for me to become a member and keep going, and just meeting other Black people who enjoyed doing stuff outdoors. So I want to thank you for creating a space like that, and thank you for being a guest on my podcast.
Of course, of course. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me.
I'm pretty sure that's how we met.
Yeah, that was how we met. I mean, the full story is I had created my first meetup. I'd put up my first meetup, and I was like, I don't know if anybody's gonna attend. And I put it out there. It was just a meet and greet in Brooklyn, at this bar in Brooklyn, this beer garden. And yeah, you showed up.
Yes.
You and I think maybe 10, 11 other people just showed up, and we just it was just brainstorming, like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna do this? Yeah, and I remember you had ideas, people had ideas, you were excited, and that was just really the genesis. So you came to the very first meetup. That's got to be like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, now that you said that, it came back to me. I'm like, yes, I remember that. I remember that. Oh man, wow. Well, like I said, thanks for being a guest on the podcast. And we'll just get right into it. So, did you enjoy the outdoors as a kid, or was this something that you discovered in your adulthood?
Um, yeah, I think I enjoyed the outdoors. I mean, I'll start preface this with the fact that I grew up in Nigeria. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had the outdoors, but not like in a traditional way, like here, where it's like, people go hiking and that camping and that sort of thing. But we had birds and, gardens and trees and all of that. So I would spend a lot of time outside in the yard and like under the trees. Like we had this big mango tree, and I'd spend a lot of time there just playing with my toys and just roaming around the bushes. Like we had gardens and that sort of thing. So I spent a lot of time doing that. But yeah, and then just having my brothers chase me around. But that was probably about it, until I came here, and then I didn't really do any of that anymore. So in terms of just like traditional outdoor stuff, like I think people be familiar with, it was
Mm-hmm.
more so when I was in college. I just got curious about, I just started taking a lot of walks. I go to the park a lot, and I'd be like, I wonder what's next. So I signed up. I lived in Massachusetts at the time. And I just signed up. I started Googling and, AOL back then. And I found, I found this trip. I don't even local AMC group, which is the Appalachian Mountain Club, in Massachusetts. They had like a young adult group, and they were going camping in Vermont. Or was it Maine? One of the two. And I just randomly signed up to go with them. And I remember my aunt being like, "You're fixing to get kidnapped or something, so you're gonna die or something's gonna happen to you." And I was just like, I mean, they seem like cool people. They're all young like me. I mean, are we gonna kidnap each other? So yeah, just met up with a bunch of strangers. I was the only Black person there, and we just went out randomly from Massachusetts to Vermont and just camped. And that was my first time doing that, and it was amazing. Just we put like they had these quarter showers where you put like a quarter in, you put like 50 cents, and it give you, 5-minute shower or something like that. And I was like, this is fast. This is amazing. I don't know why I thought that was so cool. But yeah, they would cook outside, and I was just like, wow, these people are all my age, because I had just started college, and I was just fascinated by like they could take care of themselves. They were just out there. They set up their own camp. They would cook their own meals, and I was just fascinated by the fact that they were just able to sustain themselves and take care of themselves, and act like they were leaders, and like they knew what they were doing. And that was my first real kind of exposure to it.
Oh, that's cool. I've never been camping.
We got to fix that.
like that was something that I never had a desire to do. Like, I'll be honest, even within the group, like you guys would go like, hey, we want to do camping trips and we want to go here. And I'm like, I'll pass. I'll see y'all when y'all get back. but now I'm exploring more. I'm hiking. I never had a desire to hike before until I just started going to different places, and I'm like, oh well, what's there to do? Hiking. I'm like, all right, let me start hiking. And I want to camp too. I'm a little I'm not going to go on my own because I don't know what I'm doing, and that's cool that you had a group of people to experience that with your first time, because I need that type of support, because I don't foresee myself just going out with a couple of people like, all right, well, we're just gonna wing it. Like, no, we're not.
Yeah, it's definitely recommended, and I think it changes the experience when you go with a couple of people at least that know what they're doing, right? Because when I think the danger sometimes is when you just go like, oh, I'm just gonna wing it, and then you have a bad experience, and then you're like, okay, I'm never doing this.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah,
I can see that happening. Like, nah, I'm done with camping.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite outdoor activities, or do you have?
My favorite, my bad. The ice cream man is coming through my house, so just apologies. It's that time of day. Yeah, my favorite activities right now are, I mean, it's not the season. It's just early fall, but it would have to be skiing right now. Yeah. I also really like surfing. I don't know if you can swear on this. I'm shit at it, but I also really like surfing. But I've been taking well, this year I've been taking one-on-one lessons. I mean, I would say I'm like intermediate surfer, but I wanted to take some one-on-one lessons just to level myself up a little bit. So I did a little bit of that, but I'm still just still need some help in that. Practice basically is what I need there. But I enjoy surfing. It takes a lot of energy to be to be sure. But when I catch a wave, it just feels so good. But what I would say is my current favorite is skiing. It's such an experience, I think. Skiing down the mountain in a way that I'm not sure I can really describe it, but it's just freeing. It feels like you're flying. It feels like you're on the mountain. You can see so much. Like it's almost like a church-like experience. I got to tell you, it has that kind of sense to it where you're just like, oh, and you're just, when you just get it right, and and you're just kind of zooming down the mountain. And it doesn't have to be like you don't have to do like the double blacks or do the really hard ones to get the feeling. You could be on the green, you could be on the easy, right? It's not, you're not out there to go to the Olympics. But I think once people give it a chance, take some lessons and get past that, the hardest point is like getting the general idea of what you're supposed to be doing. But once you get past that, then you can just really start to enjoy it.
Yeah, I've gone skiing a couple times, but I was young. I've done like cross country skiing, and then I've done like skiing on the slope, but I haven't done it in so long. And I I can relate to the experience. If I can compare it to like rollerblading or cycling in a sense where, you know, you're going down that hill, or you're just, it's a flat surface and you're just going. So I could
Right.
kind of get that, like, oh man, that was a good one, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
You just catch a vibe and it's just like
yeah.
you're just in that zone for a while. Yeah.
So have you taken lessons? Like when you, because I know usually when you go to like a ski resort, for beginners, they do have like some instructors there that, you know, kind of show you what to do. So you don't go out there and break your bones. But have you gone to take lessons, or is it just something that you just, okay, all right, I know I have to, all right, move this leg, move this pole, move that pole, and just practice on
Yeah.
your own?
No, no, no. So ski where I would you should definitely get lessons to start. Like that's not something you want to mess around with. Oh, let me just go do this. No. You definitely want to get a couple of lessons. It'll take you a couple of lessons to really get your footing and the idea of what you're supposed to do with your body and all of that, how to stop, how to brake, how to turn, those types of things. So you want to get those fundamentals down. For me, I took lessons. I think a lot of years ago, I gone with a church group and they were going skiing. Um, and I joined them. I was just like, okay, I'll come through. And yeah, it was again into somewhere in Vermont, or I think some mountains, and Vermont does have some beautiful mountains, I'll tell you though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, it was a couple of days trip, and those are the best ones when you can go for a couple of days, because then you can't. It's hard, especially when you're learning to go for day, because you need to go a couple of days to get the lessons, and then like
Mm-hmm.
start doing your own thing. So that was the best experience. Took lessons for a couple of days, and then maybe by like the third day or whatever, then I started to you know go on my own. But yeah, that was how it started, and then you keep going back, keep improving. It's
Mm-hmm.
any of these things, you need practice. You're not gonna I think that the thing is, we see it on TV and we're just like, in our head we think we're just gonna jump out and be like, yeah, cruising down the mountain. But that's that's a misnomer, right? Any of these things, it's practice. You got to do it a number of times. It's like learning to ride a bike, right?
Yeah.
Nobody just got on there the first day and they were just like um cruising down the hill. So yeah, so each time you go back you get better. And then it just starts to be fun and enjoyment. Yeah, so that's how I got into it.
Yeah, I agree. And when I first learned how to ride a bike, they just put me on a bike and I just started pedaling. So,
Mm.
it can be done. It can be done. I'm totally lying. I definitely fell a bunch of times.
Yeah. Lots of bruises.
Listen, I'm still falling. Like
Right, exactly. I'm still falling. Even when I ski, I'm still falling, right? Even the pros are still falling.
Yeah,
So it's not that you're not going to fall once you learn. You're still going to fall. It's just, okay, how do I fall the right way, right? To
exactly,
avoid
exactly,
injury. So,
exactly.
yeah, that's the only difference now.
And okay, so speaking of skiing and surfing, right? Before
Hmm.
I ask my next question, I just want to like let you know that you've changed people's lives. You've created like amongst the people in the group like these lifelong bonds.
Hmm.
You help people learn how to swim, ski, surf, and do other outdoor activities with your organization. So if it wasn't for Black Outdoor Adventurers, some people would have never experienced those things. They
Hmm.
they probably wouldn't have done it. So again, thank you for creating that space for people to experience those things with people that look like them.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you. And I mean,
mhm.
also thank you, because you have not mentioned, but you, after that for a number of years, you signed up to help with the organization, and your title was the chief happiness officer. Let's give a shout out to that. As the chief happiness officer, you were talking to people, you were communicating, answering messages, all of
Oh
I mean, for a
gosh.
number of years. And not only that, like I would call you when I would like be like struggling with something and you would, give me advice. So, I mean, shout out to you for that too, for sure.
uh Thanks for giving me that position, you know.
I mean, I don't know if you want me to say, but the reason I had given you that position was because the first day we met, I felt like you were so quiet. And I was just like, but you were so quiet, but you were so engaged.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, there's something here. I was like, there's something here. I can't suss it out, because there's different kinds of people, especially what I've
Yeah.
learned. Like, there's people, introverts and whatever, extroverts, whatever in between. And you
Mm-hmm.
got to talk to people to like really talk to them and just like look in their eyes to see like, where people land. And yeah, just talking to you, I was like, there's something here, but like, she's quiet, but maybe it's like she's just meeting us for the first time. And so like, I was just like already trying to draw you in from the beginning. And so began the lifelong.
Exactly. Oh gosh. Um, okay, so what made you start um Black people who love the outdoors? Like what
Mm,
made you, after that first like meetup, what made you say, you know what, this is a thing that I want to start?
mm. Yeah. So, I mean, you already mentioned our first name, version one, was Black People
Yes.
Who Love the Outdoors and Adventures, which was a mouthful, which is why we changed it to Black Outdoor Adventurers. But I mean, it was a number of things. I mean, I discovered the outdoors um, and I was doing little things here and there, and definitely noticing I would go. There's a number of ski companies, companies that run like ski trips, like on these
Mm-hmm.
like luxury buses to like the mountains in New York, upstate. And I would do a bunch of that, but it was often just like, just or just like I would invite people and they would always like let you. I'd be like, oh, hey, I'm going camping. Invite all your friends. They'd be like, yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. And then like nobody would show. So I
Mm-hmm.
just got into this thing where like I was just like, all right, I'll invite people, but I will definitely, whether they show up or not, I will definitely still go by myself. So I just
Mm-hmm.
got into that habit. But then still, it's just like, still when there's not a ton of Black people or people, it just always feels kind of weird. But that was something I always kept in the back of my head. And then I had some like medical issues and things going on. Um, and at the time, for me, the outdoors was just a really big part in my healing. Whether it was, I would spend a lot of time in bodies of water, um, and whether it's waterfalls or, oceans,
Mm-hmm.
beaches. And I just sensed a lot of power, whether it's spiritual healing, whatever it was, from nature. And for me, spending time there helped, obviously, in addition to like, medical stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like that was also played a big part in the healing, whether it's getting your mind right, whether it's, all of that, right? Because sometimes, if the mind gives up, the body ain't gonna hold on.
Exactly.
And for me, that played a big part in keeping me going. And I was just like, and in a lot of those spaces, I still wasn't seeing Black people. And I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, yo, if this is helping me in this way, like I can't imagine, Black people, we carry a lot of burdens. Like people talk about generational burdens or just
Mm-hmm.
economic. I was just like, at the very least, right, even though we still have these burdens, maybe getting a different perspective through nature might help us to better deal with these things, right? So I was just like, after I went through that illness, I said, one day I just got mad and I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to start this meetup. that
Mm-hmm.
that was literally it. And so I started the meetup. And yeah, I started the meetup and just put it on there. And I said, I thought maybe we would have just like 10 people. Because I never see Black people out there. I
Mm-hmm.
figured, okay, maybe there wouldn't be that much interest. And then in the start, the interest was slow. We did a couple of things here and there. But then it just started kind of growing exponentially over the years. I mean, you were there, you saw it, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just exponentially, to the point where I was like, all right, we got to turn this into a business, because like there's a lot going on here. So we turned it into an LLC, turned it into a business, brought more people on the team, just really organized ourselves. We ended up, we bought a
Mm-hmm.
van, so we could carry people out, because our biggest issue, if you're in New York, most people don't have cars.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the outdoor things, you got to drive an hour, hour and a half upstate, even New Jersey, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. And so we were having such a hard time getting people out. And so we bought the van so we could facilitate everything. And we were just like trying to package everything up and just try and make it official and make things run smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was the path, and that was the genesis.
That was the start of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure the numbers have grown since you started your outdoor journey. So now, do you see more Black people when you're, hiking, camping, surfing, skiing? Do you see more of that, or is it still about the same? You don't really see that many.
Yeah, I see a little bit more than when I first started. I definitely see a bit more, and I feel as though there was like this time before the Ahmad, what was his last name? Ahmad Barry,
Oh,
the
yeah, yes, yes,
yes, the runner,
yes.
and that high profile where it's like, okay, Black people in outdoor spaces getting attacked, and then a lot of Black people are like, hey, we're gonna we're gonna show that we can be in these spaces.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, I was seeing more people, but then after that and some other events like that, I think a lot of Black people also started spending more time outdoors, and
Yeah.
doing things such as hiking, skiing, and that sort of thing. um, and then also there's been other organizations kind of similar to ours popping up that are
Mm-hmm.
also helping to facilitate these kind of things. So I think that there was just, in the last, when we started, there wasn't a lot, but then I
Mm-hmm.
would say maybe in the last like 2 years or so, 2-3 years, you've been seeing more of it. It's not a ton. I mean,
Yeah.
more is is relative, right? More, but still, not a lot. I still go on a lot of things where I'm the only Black person, and at this point, I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But we're slowly, very slowly, starting to see a shift. But there's still definitely a need for more, and definitely a need. Still like Black outdoor adventurers, and I still have goals and dreams around that.
Mm-hmm.
But we are slowly starting to see, when you get out there, someone to at least give a head nod to that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're out here too.
Yeah, I do that every time. Like, hey, this way else is Black. I give
Yeah.
him a head nod, a little wave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just getting into the hiking. I went hiking when I was in New Mexico,
Mm.
and I wasn't the only Black person, but I saw maybe hiking. I saw, I think, one gentleman, and then on the way back, I saw 2 women.
Mm.
I think so, less than 5. Maybe I might have. I think I was definitely counting, because I was
Mm.
just like, okay, let me see, and that's something that always stays in the back of my head, where I'm just like, I look for people who look like me. Not to say
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not gonna enjoy it, I'm not gonna go, but I'm
Mm.
like, damn, where are we? So
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, there could have been a number of things. They could have gone the previous day, which I did see a couple go up there the previous day.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be a number of things, but it's still not, like you said, it's still not enough where it's like, oh, okay, right, cool. It's like 10 of us out here. No,
Right. Right. If there's like if it's like 3 and 200, okay, maybe it's 3 versus 1, but still, like, what's that ratio is still off. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yes. Yeah.
So.
But I do agree. Um, the last couple years, especially last summer, saw an influx of black cyclists, which is great. I saw influx of just people in general on bikes and
Mm.
on skates, rollerblades. I mean, well, inline skates and roller skates. So just being outdoors and doing more outdoorsy stuff. So that has grown, within itself. And then, like you said, these little pockets of black people doing this and black people doing that. It's growing slowly, but it is growing.
Mm. For
Um,
sure.
so what do you love and enjoy most about the outdoors? Like, what is it? I know you spoke about earlier how when you were going through your illness, it was healing for you. Um, like, do you just like, you know what? I'm gonna just go camp by myself. Do you go camp by yourself? Like, or do you go with people? Like, like,
I've camped by myself before. Yeah, I've camped by myself. I had a trip one time. I like I told you, even when we would run our trips, right?
mm-hmm.
What I would tell people, and maybe this is probably like a hard line thing. I would like, listen, I'm organizing this trip. I want y'all to come, but if none of y'all show up, I will still go. Right? I would tell people flat out because I think sometimes people are always like, who else is coming? Like
Yeah.
there's this weird thing like who's gonna be there? Like not that you know anybody that's gonna be there, but like you're asking how many people are coming. I am coming. That's all you need to know. I will be there, right? Show up for
Yeah.
you, right? There's this weird thing where we get to this where we're always asking this thing. No, the outdoors is about you and your outdoors. If other people come and explore it with you, great. But let's not always wait for other people to be going somewhere before we decide to get up and go,
Right.
right? So yeah, no, I've gone camping by myself before. I've done all kinds of things. I've gotten to this place where it's like I will go sit in a movie theater by myself. I'll go to a bar
Mm-hmm.
by myself, whatever it is. Like I don't you can't be just waiting for people in your life for things, your whole
Mm-hmm.
life. You got to just be able to get up and go. If I got people to go with me, I would love that. That's my ideal situation. But if people cancel, which they tend to do last minute, or they, whatever happens, I'm still gonna get up and go. And that's really um, been the way that I've been.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a great way to be. Don't wait for anyone
Yeah.
because you might be waiting forever.
Yeah, legit. And unfortunately, it doesn't just for me it's not just like the outdoors, it translates to the rest of your life. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what, like, for me, the outdoors is a learning space, right? You
Yeah.
learn skills and things and ways to think and whatever that you can take back and put in place in your life and live a better life. For me, that's the way I see it. Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I really like it. When I go out there, it's about what's that word? Per, um, Not perception, but like the way you see things, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can take that and then apply it to the way you see the rest of your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all in the view, right? You
Yeah.
turn this way, it could be a bad view. You turn the other way, it's a better view, right? So sometimes it's all in the way you see things in your life, right? The perspective, that's what I was going to say,
Mm-hmm.
that you apply to it. And that's you were asking why I love the outdoors. That's one of the reasons I love it. Also, when I get out there, I feel free. I think, so it's, just the fresh air makes you feel better. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know what it is. It just makes me happy. And I like the activity, right? So I don't always have to be doing active things. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I just want to sit, and as long as I'm outside. But I
Mm-hmm.
also, when I'm doing active things, whether it's whitewater rafting, skiing, surfing. I also like that, movement.
Yeah.
Our bodies are meant to move, right? And
Yeah.
it appreciates it when we move. Doesn't have to be anything dangerous. But the movement is good for you. And so I just like that, being able to move, seeing what you can do with your body. If you want to, push yourself a little, see what you can do in that realm. If you don't want to push yourself too much, whatever, stay within your limits. But just exploring what you yourself are capable of. I think a lot of times when people would come on a trip, right, they'd be like, man, I never thought in my wildest dreams that I could do that. Like, is capable of doing that, right? So it's just exposing people to that, like something that they themselves didn't even think that they were capable of, right? And they're just fascinated by themselves. And again, they could take that and apply it to other parts of their lives, where things that they never thought that they could do, whether it's a promotion or a job, I don't know, whatever it is. I never thought I could do that. You know what? I'm gonna go out for that tomorrow. I'm gonna try this new thing, because I see that I'm capable of things. So yeah.
I agree. You're preaching to the choir. I agree. Oh man. So what's next for you?
I feel like it's a big, that's a loaded question for me. It's interesting because I haven't told people close to me. I don't even think I told you yet, because we haven't talked in a bit. But I've told people close to me. It's not on my socials or anything. So if anybody tries to follow me, you won't even see it for now. But right now, I ran the organization for a while. Our website, everything's still up. So if anybody wants to look us up, feel free to look us up. But since Rona, we put everything on pause. And it's been good for me mentally, because what I realized was that I wasn't, I used to be kind of person who used to get up and do a lot of adventures by myself as well. But I didn't get an opportunity to do that anymore, because I'm running a company now.
Yeah.
All of a sudden I'm a boss. I got a team. I got, just so many responsibilities. And you can't just get up and be like, oh, I'm going over here anymore like you used to.
Yeah.
And I just realized that I really missed that. Rediscover myself in adventure. So I'm spending time doing different adventures. I got a trip coming up tomorrow, actually. Camping adventure trip to Georgia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, really? We're going to Georgia? Atlanta style? Like, they got camping out there. That is, I know, anybody from there, I'm sorry. But I was like, okay, let me come see what y'all have going on. So we're going out there to this area called Mulberry Gap, if anybody's from out there. So it should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. But just discovering myself, rediscovering my own connection to adventure. But then also the crazy part that I haven't told anybody yet, because for me, it's like, it's vulnerability kind of stuff. But everyone's kind of doing like the camper van life thing right now. So I want to do that for a little bit. So I'm building out my own van.
Hey, nice.
By myself. Yes. It's a lot of work. And I've been building it for months, and I'm still going to be building it for months. But for me, it's kind of therapeutic, because I am seeing what I can do. I'm pushing myself to the limit. I'm learning things. I'm applying it. I'm loving it. It's hard. There's good days. There's bad days. There's days where I just want to quit. But I know I'm not going to quit, because that's just me.
Yeah.
So it's coming along. I see the vision. But that is what I want to do. And the goal is I want to travel the country. I want to end up in Mexico and spend some time there. Just because I've heard so many amazing things about Mexico, and how you can live in different parts very affordably and all of that. But I would be doing it with the van, but just want to spend some time there. I'm a slow traveler. I'm not like let me go here, let me hit all these landmarks and that type of thing. So just gonna take my time, go there maybe for about 3 months, probably come back home. So I'm not like saying I'm going to live in a van permanently or anything. Because I feel like that might be too much. So so that's what I'm doing. But again, you're not gonna see it anywhere until I'm ready to put it out. Just taking my time. I am documenting the process, so
Great. Okay.
I will. I think I'm gonna get someone to start editing the videos for me and then start slowly putting it out and making updates. But yeah, but there's a vulnerability to that,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it's really challenging, right?
Yeah.
And I every day I see myself, I do something right, the next day I do something wrong, and I'm frustrated. And it's hard watching having people watch that process.
Yeah.
So for now, I'm keeping it to myself. My little secret baby. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. It's just adventure, moving my body. Been doing a lot of since Rona. I made like a little gym in my garage. Been doing a lot of fitness and just really loving it. But yeah, just trying to take care of the mind. I got me a therapist. Just taking care of
Nice.
myself. Just trying to
Nice.
be overall better human being, so that when we hit that Black Outdoor Adventurers 3.0,
Nice.
we can do it well. So, but yeah.
That's so dope. Like I'm sitting here smiling, like I'm just like, oh my gosh, yes, yes.
We're
You
gonna
got,
take you on a trip whenever I finish.
yeah.
We gotta do it.
Yo, like I watch those YouTube videos and I'm like, I don't think I would want to live in a van. Travel in it, yes. Like,
Mm,
take a few months and just travel, go to different national parks, different states,
mm,
different places.
mm-hmm.
Yes. Live in it like full time, I don't think so. But
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
yeah, that's an adjustment.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think that's super dope. Like I'm excited for you. Please text me the link when you have the video so I could
Mm-hmm.
just watch. Maybe you're inspiring me to like do that build. Again, I looked at the videos and I was just like, I'm frustrated looking at this. Like, just show me the end result.
Yeah, it ain't easy. I will attest to that. It tries your patience, but it's one of, I tell you, I think that's why it's got to be it's like meditative. I don't know what that
Yeah,
word is, but
yeah,
yeah, you got to allow yourself that, and that's, allowing yourself the grace to mess up,
yes,
right, and not get too upset. So there was
yep.
like one day where I messed up one particular thing so many times. I'll tell you, by the fourth time I messed it up, I was just like, well, it is what it is. The first two times I was so mad at myself. By the fourth time, I was like, okay, I'm learning something here. I'm learning. There's no point in getting upset. Just,
Exactly.
woosah, get down to business, fix it, do what you got to do. And that's how the process has been, to be honest.
You're right. You are learning something. Look, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to work out how it's supposed to work out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Exactly.
it is. And that's super dope that you are becoming the best you for you. You're taking care. It's self-care that you're doing,
Mm.
from the van to spending more time outdoors and rediscovering the outdoors for you. So yeah, that all plays a part in just you becoming a better you. So that's super dope.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, one thing, if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of anybody else, right?
That's a fact.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and I think I give a lot naturally. I'm very empathetic, and I want to help everybody. I want to do this and I want to do that, and it's easy to get like, to overdo.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why it's important for me to just come back during this time and give back to myself, right? Fill your own cup, right? Before you
Yep.
can then go back out and try and, fill other people's cup. But I want to help people so bad sometimes that you forget it. You forget to take care of yourself. So, yeah, I got to do this right now for me.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely right. Oh man, thank you so much. This is such a dope interview. Like it was great catching up because that's what we did. We just we
Mm-hmm.
caught up.
Friend to friend chat. That's all it
Yeah,
was.
exactly. Exactly. Are there any last words you want to say?
I don't know if I have any last words. I'm just really proud of you in this podcast. I know that it takes a lot of hard work and dedication, so I'm real proud of you. Real proud of you getting out there. I remember when you got your folding bike. I remember when you got your folding bike. I remember you went to, was it Rockaway Beach or something? You sent me a
Yes.
picture. I'm so proud of you, Tay, for legit. You
Thank
just
you.
one of
Thank
those
you.
people when I think about just really, really brightens my day. So, and just to anybody listening, just yeah, just do you try new things, right? Don't be in any box that anybody has created for you or you've created for yourself, right? Well, how can you do just one little thing today that's something new you've never done before? Right.
Mm-hmm.
I put a slack line in my backyard, right? Everybody's coming like, what's going on here? What's doing this? Like, I don't try to be that person that does
Yeah.
different things, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just, that's just me, right?
Yeah.
So just live, don't live inside any box that anybody has created for you. Do you, right? Explore yourself, try new things. Even if nobody wants to go, just, go by yourself. Find some random people, whether it's Meetup is a great place, or, Eventbrite now has a lot of great things that you can try, right? If you're afraid to see, because funny enough, a lot of people that would come out to events, when we would do it, would be like, they would want to come out and do it with us who were strangers, because like they'd be like, oh, their friends and family might make fun of them, say they're,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not things black people do or whatever
Mm-hmm.
that is. So I know that that's still prevalent. Like, that's still kind of prevalent in our community, right? So if you're
Yeah.
afraid of that, then try it with other people, right? That don't know you. And most people are friendly, even if there's no black people out there. They'll still be friendly to you, right? Just let people know, hey, I'm a beginner, and people will tend to open up to you and help you and that sort of thing. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to try new things because you can't find somebody to go with you.
Yeah. That's right.
Hmm.
If you want to do it, just go ahead and do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I say. Again, this has been such a great interview. Thank you again. Um, yeah, so this is the Rolling with Tay podcast. I'm your host, Tasia, aka Tay, and this is episode 18, and we out.